Boxing experts have put Jake Paul on a blast for crying about new fight rules. Yep, Mike Tyson has just turned the tables on the YouTuber turned boxer by announcing new fight rules in their highly anticipated heavyweight clash, and Jake is sweating bullets. The problem child's whole world is crumbling down as Iron Mike has eliminated all chances of him having an unfair advantage in the ring, and let's be honest, that's all Paul was relying on to pick a win against the boxing legend. The boxing pros and pundits are sharing their 2 cents on the whole fiasco, and it's setting the fight world on fire. So what exactly are these new fight rules that have Jake so fired up? Keep watching because I've got the exclusive scoop right here for you. Can you believe this drama? Jake Paul is throwing a bigger tantrum than a 2-year-old denied a candy. The guy's set to face Mike Tyson on November 15th at the AT&T Arena, and he was all cocky and confident, thinking he had the whole boxing world wrapped around his finger. But then Mike Tyson, being the absolute legend he is, dropped a bombshell. New fight rules. Looks like someone's been caught with their pants down. Tyson's basically ripped off the training wheels Jake's been cruising on. No more special treatment, no more unfair advantages. And let me tell you, the boxing world is loving every second of it. Experts are lining up to roast Jake for crying about it. It's like watching a kid complain about losing their favorite toy. This is what we call karma, baby. Tyson's forcing Jake into the deep end, and there's no lifeguard on duty. Let's talk about Jake Paul's secret weapon, his weight. The dude is walking around at like 220 pounds, and he's fighting guys who are barely breaking 190. It's like David and Goliath, but with way less drama and a lot more punching. His fight with Mike Perry was a prime example. Perry got dropped 3 times before the ref finally called it quits in the 6th round. Now don't get me wrong, Jake's got power, but let's be real. That size difference was a huge factor. He was practically throwing bowling balls at Perry. Well, guess what, Jake? Mike Tyson ain't playing your game. The Iron Man is making sure there's a level playing field when they step into the ring. As Tyson himself said, "I'm taking away your unfair advantage." Looks like someone's about to find out what it's like to fight without the weight class cushion. Now let's rewind for a second. When Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson was initially announced in March, the whole fight world went ballistic. Come on. On one side, we had Jake, a YouTuber who grew up on the Disney Channel, and on the other, a boxing legend, Iron Mike with fists that could launch a rocket. Most folks thought it was a good old joke, but nope, Jake was as serious as a heart attack. Boxing experts, though, they were like, bruh, on a whole new level.
One thing he doesn't want to do is fight Mike.
No.
Yeah, he wants to fight Mike, I think.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't give a if he's 55. That's still Mike Tyson.
Mike's in good shape, too.
Oh, my God.
Mike trains every day.
He trains.
The boxing world had a mixed bag of reactions on this one. Some experts, like the UFC commentator Joe Rogan, were totally against it and advised Paul to give this bout second thoughts. While others gave Paul credit for finally stepping in the ring with a seasoned boxer for the toughest fight of his career. Both Iron Mike and the Problem Child started firing shots at each other to hype up their upcoming fight, and as strange as it sounds, this matchup really started growing on us.
You're distinctly average, but that is a compliment.
So, but none of your...
Boxing promoter Eddie Hearn isn't one to shy away from sharing his honest opinions or just simply attacking Jake Paul. Yeah, you can really see that the Brit has got a knack for throwing verbal jabs at the YouTuber turned boxer. You think you can box Jake because that resume doesn't really speak volumes. Jake has an impressive record of 9-1-0, but his choice of opponents remains a controversial take. Let's be real, Mike Tyson is 58 now, so we've got ourselves a man pushing his 60s fighting a 27-year-old boxer in his prime, and here comes the age factor so big that you can't ignore it even if you want to. Don't get me wrong, sure Mike's still ripped, but Father Time's undefeated, you know? Jake challenging a 58-year-old Iron Mike is a dirty move for the YouTuber turned boxer. You can't really step into the ring with an athlete more than 30 years after their prime and expect them to pose the same challenge they did back in the day. I really don't know what Jake was expecting with this one, but fight pros are calling him out. Jake, honey, respect your elders. Especially elders who can knock your lights out with one punch, they say. On the other hand, Jake Paul is on cloud 9 right now. He's convinced he's the baddest man on the planet. After knocking out Mike Perry, the guy thinks he's the new king of violence. He's running around like he just dethroned Tyson or something. But let's be real, folks, this guy is living in a fantasy world. The boxing world is laughing at him. I mean, beating up a guy who's clearly not a boxer doesn't make you a world beater. It's like winning a gold medal in the Special Olympics. It's great for your ego, but it doesn't mean you're ready for the big leagues.
But I just believe in my power so much. I put him down in the first round, but he just kept coming. So respect to Mike Perry. That's why he's the king of violence, former king of violence. I'm the new king of violence.
And take it from Michael Bisping, who might just be the biggest Jake Paul hater out there. Bisping has labeled Paul as a fraud and a con man who handpicks his opponents to continue this orchestrated charade of him knocking people out cold in the ring. Come on, all his fights with Ben Askren, Tyson Woodley, and Anderson Silva had knockouts that were too good to be true. And that can only mean one thing. Jake's pretty much an industry plant.
It's a fake, okay? Do not buy the wolf tickets.
They're selling y'all wolf tickets, people. You're eating them right up.
Do not accept the bullshit. This was a hand-picked, cherry-picked opponent for Jake Paul to beat up once again.
Fans also hopped on the bandwagon to share their 2 cents on this matchup, and these reactions are as hilarious as they can get. Get ready to laugh your wits off. One user wrote on X, Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson? More like David versus Goliath, except David actually had a chance. While another added, I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Tyson used Jake Paul's head as a jump rope for his next training session. A third user couldn't hold back either and posted the most savage tweet of all time. The only thing getting knocked out faster than Jake Paul in the ring is his career. It really rubbed the boxing world the wrong way when Jake was out there trashing Mike Tyson in his interviews. Yeah, trash talk to build up hype for the fight makes sense, but there's a thin line between trash talk and straight-up disrespect. Jake seems to always cross this one. Well, it's all up in the air now. Rumors have it that Jake got absolutely smocked in a sparring session recently. Like, knocked out cold, kind of smoked, and that's why he's calling it off. Others say it was a money grab all along, a publicity stunt to boost Jake's fame. Whatever the reason, the fight's off for now. And the internet is roasting Jake like a Thanksgiving turkey. Let's be real, folks. Jake Paul is a master of self-promotion. He's a walking, talking, money-making machine. But when it comes to boxing, he's a paper tiger. His opponents? A who's who of washed-up athletes and reality TV stars. It's like he's playing in his own personal playground where the rules don't apply. Sure, he's got the knockouts, but let's be honest, these aren't exactly primetime opponents. It's easy to look good when you're fighting someone who's clearly out of their depth. The boxing world is starting to see through the smoke and mirrors. This isn't real boxing. It's entertainment. And Jake Paul is the biggest showman in the business. He's good at what he does, but let's not confuse showmanship with skill. Until he steps in the ring with a real boxer, not some reality TV has been, we can't take him seriously. Jake Paul might be filling up arenas, but he's doing it with spectacle, not substance. This is the end of the Jake Paul hype train. Now, unless the problem child proves himself against a seasoned professional, there's no room for him among the pros of the boxing world. He can pick up as many wins as he wants, but they don't mean anything as long as Jake's going after old and crusty dudes with no boxing background. Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get even crazier. Jake Paul is actually stepping into the ring with Mike Tyson on November 15th at the AT&T Arena. The kid who struggles against YouTubers is now facing off against one of the greatest boxers of all time. Jake thinks this is his big chance to prove himself, but let's be real. This is a no-win situation. If he loses, he's just a guy who got knocked out by an old man. If he wins, well, beating up a 60-year-old doesn't exactly solidify your legacy as a boxing great. Jake needs to stop chasing headlines and start facing real competition. Someone his own age at the top of their game. That's how you prove yourself, not by fighting a washed-up legend. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. So, there you go, Fight World. That's all I have for you today. What do you think about the boxing expert's hot take on Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson's new fight rules? Fill in the comment section with your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more boxing news. See you in the next video.